bloody hell, that's bright. Hey, what's up? I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is books that I probably didn't need to read in my life, aka unrememberable. Unrememberable? Why does that word not, that does unmemorable? Nothing sounds right. They're books that essentially aren't necessarily bad or good, because I tend to remember really bad things as well as really good things. These are just books that were probably mediocre, and I have absolutely no I have absolutely no recollection of reading whatsoever. None at all. I'm not very good at remembering things anyway, but most of the time I can look at a book or a title and think, this is the general synopsis. There's some scenes in my mind that stick out, and I definitely can remember a feeling that I had while reading the book, whether it was good or bad. How many, like, I was looking at my shelf, and one of the books I literally looked at and was like, I have no idea if I read that, or if I think that I read it, or if I didn't read, like, I don't know. So this made me think, how many books have I read that really kind of wasted my time because they mean nothing to me now? Absolutely nothing, because I have no memory of them. And yes, I know there were some years that I spent in alcohol days, but I don't think that this was any of that fell into that category. Some of these are even within like the past 2 years, so I can't even say that it's been so long that I've forgotten. It's just general books that just apparently mean nothing to me. First, this was the one that kind of sparked this, The Murder Complex. I know that I read this book. I don't know anything else about it. I only know it because I remember I wasn't quite a booktuber yet, and I remember this was kind of getting some hype, I think mostly because Lindsay Cummins is the author of this. So I was like, okay, I want to know more about that. Plus it has a very intriguing cover. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead, look, sign me up. I don't remember anything else. There's a very vague scene coming to my head about like a beach, maybe? I got no clue, none whatsoever. I'm gonna just guess at the synopsises of the rest of these, but I think it has something to do with, is she trained to be a murderer? Or is she following someone who's trained to be a murderer? She's falling in love with someone who's trained to be... None. I cannot, like, I don't remember anything about this. And honestly, I don't think I've seen anyone on BookTube talk about this book ever. So now I'm just like, why did I read that if I didn't even know anyone else who read it and enjoyed it? Then we have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, I think that it is. Now I do know that I didn't really like this book. I do know that. And mostly because I have realized, but I know that it's one of the books that I don't like because of the road trip aspect. It's one of the reasons that I know I don't like the road trip aspect. However, I don't remember anything. I had to look up their names, even though it's part of the title. I don't remember any parts of this whatsoever. I think there was a playlist involved. But what did that have to do with it? Did that apply to the storyline? Does that matter if it didn't apply? Because why would I remember the playlist if it wasn't important? But I don't remember. Like, I cannot tell you any place that they visited. I cannot tell you anything that happened. I don't know the original reason that they were even on this road trip together. Like, none, no idea. Next we have, and this is a fairly recent read, An Enchantment of Ravens. Now I will say, out of all of them, this is probably the one that I do have somewhat of a memory of reading, and the main memory is just that she paints a painting of the Autumn Fae King, and he don't like it because she put emotion in his face, and he's like, I no show emotion. And then it goes into just like, I just remember feeling like the whole book contradicted itself, and I was just like, why? Like, what was the point of, like, I felt like I just read this in like a fever dream. Like, I don't, like, none of it had a point. So I've been very hesitant, of course, to pick up A Sorcery of Thorns, even though everyone has raved about it, just because I know that I probably could have gone my whole life without reading An Enchantment of Ravens, because it means nothing to me now. Oh, okay, this next one, so I made this list in and this just happened to be in the midst of some things going down in the book community. I'm not gonna go into it, but if you on the book Twitter, you have seen all about it. It's probably not a bad thing that this book has ended up on this list, and that's The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I know that the main character's name is Monty, and he's an alcoholic. That's all I remember. I cannot tell you anything about this plot. Nothing. None whatsoever. What did the alcoholism play into this? Was that important? What was their adventure? Did they go on an adventure? It's a pretty thick book. Like, what happened in that book? Why can't I remember any details of the story whatsoever? I don't remember who he was with. His sister was involved, I think, because she had a sequel, but what that sequel is about beats me. I don't remember any of their personalities. I just don't know. I could not tell you what happened at the beginning, the middle, or the end of that story. Was that also, was there had to be an adventure, right? Like, there was an adventure. Was there an adventure? Like, what? Why? Like, it's kind of bothering me that I can't remember, because I took that book on vacation and I remember really enjoying it, and I think I gave it like a 4.5 stars. So it's kind of unnerving that I can't remember anything about it. Although, are we upset at this point? No. Then we have Reality Boy. The only thing I can remember from this is that I think, obviously it has to do with he's like a reality TV star, and I don't think he wants to be. And something about he shits on the floor. Which, honestly, you can't ever forget about someone shitting on the floor. Like, that's just not a detail that you read in books very often. So that's obviously the only thing I remember. But what else happened? Like, what was the point of the rest of that story? Was it him making a debacle on reality TV of himself just to, like, make himself unfamous? Was it him taking himself out of the spot? Like, what was that book about? Feeling of being disappointed by it, but when I looked on Goodreads, it had a 4-star rating from me. What was that? Like, what was I doing? Like, what? Like, this video flabbergasted me more than anyone, honestly. So all of you were just gonna be like, yeah, and I'm just sitting here like, I read these? Did I read these? Next we have The Rest of Us Just Live Here. I got this book before its US release date because I really wanted it. Patrick Ness, okay? And I went ahead and ordered a book from the UK, and it was a gorgeous edition that I think I paid way more than I probably should have. And for being a book that I think had some supernatural things in it, I don't know. I think it was about people who weren't superheroes or something. Or was it supernatural? People that weren't people that were just normal in a more unnormal world, basically, I think. And I don't know anything happened. Like, did these people, normal people, go up in arms against someone? Did they just sit around and watch the action? Because that would have been boring. I don't think I was bored by the book, but like, that would have been boring. As you can tell, I used to own pretty much all of these, and I've since gotten rid of most of them. So next we have Hopeless, Colleen Hoover. I think that's the only Colleen Hoover I've ever read, mostly because I've heard mixed things about her works, and honestly, they don't interest me for the most part. That was one that I picked up in the hype of Colleen Hoover before things got a little sketchy, and I don't know, like, I just don't remember. I'm assuming it was new adult romance. Was it? I don't think she writes young adult. I don't know. I'm assuming it was a romance, and I'm assuming it was like good girl, bad boy, because that's how romances were in the early 2000s, because I think that's about when this book came out. So that's all I know. Next we have Spell on Wheels, and this is probably the most recent out of all these, and it's a graphic novel, which is really, I was like scrolling through my stuff that I've read, and I was like, Spell on Wheels. Like, I feel like I remember rating that high. I feel like I remember saying I wanted to continue on with the series, that I love the characters. I mean, I'm guessing because I saw the character art on the front, and I was like, these seem like characters I would love. I'm assuming it's about witches, obviously, and I think there was a part that talked about Maryland in it. That's all I know. Can't tell you what these witches were doing. Can't tell you why they was on wheels. Was this a road trip book? Is that why I'm forgetting it? Like, I just block out all road trip books? I don't know. I got no clue, and that's really upsetting when it comes to a graphic novel because they're short. I read it semi-recently. So then this last one is probably the only one I would want to reread, and that is A Study. Why are you just wobbling all over the place? And that is A Study in Scarlet Women. Now this is a Sherlock Holmes retelling, but it's a gender bend version, and at the time that this came out, it was one of the few that I had seen. Now I feel like we have quite a good many of them, but this, that's all I know, and that I just got from the title of it. I remember I had an arc of this, and it was, I think it was the first arc that I ever got, and I honestly can't tell you what the mystery was about that she was solving. I can't tell you if Watson was in it or not. I can't tell you if there was like a romantic aspect, like nothing. And I do remember really liking it, and I wanted to continue on and read the next one when it came out, and when it came out I just totally forgot about it, obviously. So I do think it is something that I would want to go back and revisit. I just feel like, look at all these hours wasted reading these books that I remember nothing about. I could have been reading some good shit. We all have to read mediocre books, right? And again, I don't think any of these were bad books, because I would have remembered if they were bad books. They just apparently weren't very memorable to me, and they might be your favorite books. But apparently not me. I don't know, that was just a quick video that I wanted to do for you guys about some books that I remember nothing about. I mean, I feel like I kind of mumble through synopsises most of the time anyway, so now we really see that I can't talk. That I truly know nothing. Hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye!